Hello, Chad here with Scaled Down Customs. Welcome to MRS Hobby Shop. Today I'm going to be doing a kit review and build of the brand new Tamiya Nissan Fairlady 240Z. And just looking at the box, I am already super excited about this build. I love Tamiya kits anyway, but this kit looks so fun. The kit comes with two different versions, so you have the Japanese version, the North American version, one with right-hand drive, one with left-hand drive, metal air funnels included, the metal transfers. Yeah, I am excited about this kit. Let's open it up and see what we got. Oh, looks like we have metal surrounds for our glass. Well, they're plastic surrounds, but they're separate molded parts. So that'll add some nice crisp detailing. Very nice clean glass. No scratches or smudges on those. Those are very, very clean. Very nice. I'm going to put that back in the plastic bag. Keep those as scratch free as possible until we get to those on the build. Some of the engine parts. This is also kind of a fun kit because with Tamiya, the hoods normally don't open. This one's going to have an opening hood and an engine, a detailed engine bay. So that's going to be cool as well. Some really nice detail on these parts. Oh nice, some separate molded fender flares. And as is usual with Tamiya, these plastics look really, really good. Wow, look at this shock spring detail. That is really nice. I always like looking at the wheels because with a lot of kits you get a lot of flashing around the spokes and stuff, and that'll really kind of give you an indication on the quality of the plastics. Separate rings for the rims. I like it. The exhaust lines is another thing to check, and those feel really, really smooth. A lot of times they get really thick mold lines around the edges that you have to spend some time cleaning off. Again, kind of a good indicator on the quality of the mold for the rest of the build, and that feels really, really smooth. I can't even feel a mold line on that, so that'll be really, really minimal, if any, work to clean that up. The interior floor plate, the hood, the seats, again, very, very nice. Those are looking really smooth, really nice. Not really seeing any injection pin marks on the bottom of the chassis. Very nice. That is very, very clean. Molded in black pieces. Another dashboard if you want to do the right-hand drive. Very nice. The detail on this is just outstanding. I just love Tamiya kits. Tires look really nice. Good, clean, crisp tread pattern on that. Looking really good. Another thing I really like, looks like we got a broken bumper on that. I can try to glue that up, see how that repairs up. But one of the other things I really like about Tamiya is their chrome pieces. They're not too overly done, and they just look really, really well. So we'll see what we can do about that. A couple more chrome pieces, headlight buckets, some of those other things, very, very nice. The decal sheet, once again, as true with Tamiya, their stuff is just outstanding. The quality is just really, really good. You really do get what you pay for on these kits. And it just makes them such a pleasure to build because everything is just clean, crisp, fits together nice. They're just a joy to work on. And yeah, those decals look really, really good. And then the photo etch metal transfers. I love when kits do photo etch pieces. It just makes the finished product look so amazing. And again, as typical with Tamiya, amazing stuff. That's one of my favorite things when kits do the photo etch parts. Outstanding. And the body. Panel lines are a little shallow. I'll scribe those out a little bit deeper. But the body mold looks really, really good. Not really feeling any mold lines. Yeah, well done. Very, very nice. And then we have the instruction book. Decal and paint callouts, and then the actual instruction sheet. And again, Tamiya is very, very detailed on their instructions. Very nice. With your paint, the paint legend on the front. Yep, very, very nice. Okay, I like it. So first things first, I'm going to get these parts over to the sink and get them all washed up just with some soap and water, just to clean off any of the mold release agent that may be left over from the molding process. And then we're going to start getting parts ready for paint. All right, I got all my parts washed off in the sink and I started scribing my panel lines here. And then I did find some of the mold lines. So I've got those marked out with just a Sharpie. They're very, very small. All right, so now I'm just going to sand this down with a 600 grit sanding sponge from Tamiya. And then we'll start getting some parts into primer. And because these A-pillars are so small, I'm going to leave the mold supports in there, especially while I'm sanding the body down before I take those out, just to give me a little bit more support for the roof. All right, so I got my panel line scribed a little deeper and then just the body sanded down with some 600 grit sanding sponge from Tamiya. A couple more things for body prep is I need to drill a couple of holes for the mounting points for the fender flares and the mounting points for the Nissan version of the mirror mounts. So the instructions call for a 1mm and a 0.6mm drill bits. So let me find those and drill some holes. All right, so I've gotten a couple of these other body pieces cleaned up, ready for pre-paint assembly. So some of these pieces you can actually install prior to paint because they're all going to be the same color and they don't interfere with installing the chassis. One more thing to note, if you're doing the American version, the Datsun version, instead of drilling these holes for the mirror mounts, you would just drill this one hole up in the side right there. For your mirror mount on the driver's side if you're doing the Datsun version. So just kind of note which version you're doing and make sure you pay attention to that in the instructions because there are some slight differences occasionally. All right, so let's get some of these pieces installed, and then I need a couple of other pieces for under the hood. All right, and then since these pieces are pre-paint assembly, plastic to plastic, I'm going to be using the Tamiya extra thin cement to glue these pieces together. So another reason I love these Tamiya kits, I mean the fit quality, the pieces just go together like they're made to. I know that seems weird, but not all kits are like that. The Tamiya kits, they're just beautiful. All right, we're gonna let those pieces set up and move on to engine assembly. All right, I debated back and forth whether I should leave the rear spoiler and the fender flares off and paint them a different color, but I think I am going to just install them now and paint them all body color. It just gives it a cleaner look, but that's another thing I love about the Tamiya kits. It does lend to customizing a little bit easier, but I could have left off the rear spoiler and the fender flares and painted those separately and then glued them on after the body was painted and cleared, just to give it a little bit more of a customized look. But I think I'm going to go with more of a, it came from the factory that way look. So I am going to put these on before paint and then paint the whole thing with the body color. One of the drawbacks with that is it does make it a little bit harder when you clear coat the car. If you get any dust spots or anything close to those, it does make it harder to sand those flat. So it does give it a little bit more of a challenge that way as well. But we're going to go ahead and install these on with the rest of the body parts. All right, we'll let that dry up. Now we're going to move on to engine pieces. So I just want to show you something else real quick that I thought, again, Tamiya kits are just amazing. I don't know that I can say enough about it, but this piece that was up here, one of the mold pieces to kind of hold the body square, when you cut that out, if you look on the bottom, there's the copyright information. And if you're a competitive builder, that's one of the things that judges look for, is the copyright insignia. Usually is on the bottom of the chassis somewhere. And you end up having to smooth that off to cut that out, because that's one of the things judges look for, because they're not on real cars. So Tamiya decided to put it on a piece that they know you have to cut out to complete the build anyway. So once again, just love Tamiya. All right, so I lied. We're going to work on chassis first. So I got all my chassis pieces for basically the first couple of pages of instructions, cut off the sprues, cleaned up, and ready for primer and paint. So let's go do that instead. And since we're doing some primer, we're going to go ahead and do the body and primer as well. All right, so I got the body and then the rest of my chassis pieces into primer. As you probably noticed, I dropped this in the booth. I was just trying to hold it. I'll have to find a better way to secure that next time I paint it, but this will all just sand out, so I'll just lightly sand that out, probably reprime it. Yeah, keep going, so not a big deal on that. But if that were paint, that would be a different matter. That would have been sad. All right, I think that'll do it for this video. Make sure you stay tuned for part 2, where I'm going to continue getting the body ready for paint and painting these chassis pieces and getting that assembled. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next one.